Isn't it strange how the things we never wanted becomes the things we live by? How the words we hear on repeat becomes the voice in our head. You don't even have to like something for it to become your truth. Just need to hear it enough, do it enough, survive it long enough, and suddenly it's who you are. But just because something feels familiar doesn't mean it's you. I walked out of my own life after awakening, not in a dramatic way, not in the way that people notice. Somewhere along the way, we are taught to create this life, and if we have all the components, it would make us happy. But over time, I did what my soul was begging for. When every part of you feel like you're performing, when you keep searching for a distraction from your own life, the life that you created, then maybe you'll want to hear this. Maybe you'll want to hear what I have to say. I ended up walking out of my life, the life that I had built, the life that I was trying to fit into. There are so many people out there living the dream of another person, carrying the burden of being the first in the family to accomplish something or someone else's story. My story was to meet the expectations of others, to follow the footsteps of their dreams. It wasn't real. It wasn't right. It felt like something I had to do and not something I wanted for myself. There was no joy. And what spiritual awakening does, it strips you of what's not real and it reveals your truth. The blueprint we have for a happy life or that we were taught is not enough. And dare I say that, this is why most people are so unhappy. It's just like AI. You train it how you want it to be if you prompt it correctly. And I feel like some of us are living a prompted life. But you are a sensitive soul. And you are meant for more. And you feel it deep down inside of you. But you've created this life, this cage, and you feel trapped in it. We're living in an era of change. And just seeing it isn't enough. You need to know who you are when the world forgets, ignores you, or walks away. So you don't disappear with it. Thank you for sitting with me today. I guess this is a part of my process of awakening. My life has been colorful in many ways, diverse, beautiful in many ways, painful in others. I've worn many identities just to fit in. I've chased dreams that weren't aligned with who I am meant to be. Trying to become what others wanted me to become. I've hidden parts of myself just to be loved and accepted. And the biggest one was running from my own truth just to feel safe. So I was surviving, not living. I've survived in ways that now when I look back was unhealthy. Becoming whoever the moment needed me to be. But underneath all of that, there was this fire I felt inside that was pulling me. I would have dreams as early back as a child, seeing myself on the peak of a mountain, and my head was wrapped. And I was looking up, looking up into the heavens, because on top of this mountain, it was as if I could touch the sky, if I could touch the heavens. Since I was a child, there was a knowing that this fire was always there burning, even before I knew myself, if that makes sense. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. You're the one I come to meet. I went looking for belonging in so many spaces, in the relationships that I sought, friendships, family, even the church. But all of these things came with conditions. They all required me to change in some sort of way, to shrink myself, to be accepted. I always knew I was different from a child. And maybe you can relate. It's just something you know. And the more I tried to fit in, the more disconnected I became from what felt real and natural to me. At one point, I realized the life that I was building was out of the need for approval. I was afraid, so I performed. So I walked out of my own life. That's what it felt like. I chose myself. And all of those experiences, the dreams, the silent ways the universe speaks to us, all came back to me. The universe was calling me higher. And I answered. And that's how I ended up on YouTube. Now, this didn't happen overnight, because without the journey, there's no destination. I learned how to let go during the process, on the journey. And I still am, because attachment bears much suffering. It brings much suffering. So I had to learn to let go in the process. I stopped pretending and I accepted myself. That's when everything begins to change. And this is pretty much what I have to offer on this channel. I cannot give you what I don't have. And I don't intend to. This was the beginning of my awakening. I thought I was lost, but I was just layered with the expectations I inherited and the projections I believe I had to live up to. I was covered in the illusion of what life should be. And my ego kept me running and chasing after this, trying to convince me that I needed to be someone, I needed to become something in life. And maybe you can relate. We spend most of our life trying to be someone instead of living. We spend so much time editing ourselves just to fit into the world. The world is always changing, but I feel strongly that we are in an era of change right now. And really what the world needs is the unedited version of you. This is your authentic self. Healing isn't fixing the persona we created. It comes from remembering that fire inside. The essence of who you are. God, Source, the Christ within, the Buddha nature, whatever name resonates for you. It's the same light burning in all of us. Even if you're listening now and you don't believe in God, deep within, there's a sense that there is more. That's your fire. The ego told me I wasn't enough, that I had to prove something, that if I just tried harder, I'd finally belong. I spent most of my life trying to belong and seeking validation. Because somewhere along the way, I was taught that I'm wrong, I'm not worthy. So I spent most of my life trying to be worthy. But now I know the old voice, the old self, it was just scared of how powerful it would be if we actually be ourselves, to stop running, to sit in the silence, to feel the grief of what I let go, the old life, the patterns, the person who survived. I had to grieve it all. The peace of who I have become. Priceless. Every day now I choose the fire over and over again. Even when the ego gets loud, even when doubts arise. Because choosing yourself isn't a one-time event. It's a daily decision, beloved. If your life looks perfect on the outside, but your soul still feels restless, always searching for something to do, something to identify with, but yet you still feel empty, then maybe it's not more that you need. Maybe you just need truth. Maybe it's time to walk out of the life that was built to impress, the life where you have everything and still feel empty, and step into the life that was made to feel like home, to feel like rest, to feel peace. And this isn't just about the life that looks right on the surface. Yes, you're doing what you've always said you wanted to do. But pause for a moment, beloved, and ask yourself gently, why? Is it coming from joy or proving something? From love or from fear of being left behind or not measuring up to others' standards? I don't live to impress anymore. I just do my best. I don't beg for love because I am that love now. I'm not creating a life that I have to perform. That was the old me trying to belong. And the reason why I said you have to choose yourself daily is because the old performing, perfectionist, people-pleasing, validation-seeking self will creep back if you let it. It's about remembering the one that's always been here and choosing that, my friends, because it's calling for you. It chose you. And to those who call themselves chosen or believe that they were chosen for a greater purpose, which I think we all are, I've learned this. Being chosen doesn't mean you're better. It means you choose yourself over and over again, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Because what you heal, you give back. What you embody, you pass on. Being chosen simply means you have something to give back. A life of pretense is simply not enough. So, yeah, I walked out of my own life. And maybe someone needs to hear this. You have to walk out of the life that is suffocating you slowly. You're not living, you're suffering. A life built on fear and pretending. I walked into the one made of truth, wholeness, presence. That fire inside still burns, and it guides me. It guides everything now. So if you're listening and you feel like you're living a life that was handed to you, maybe you became the good daughter, the good son, the responsible one, the dream keeper for someone else's legacy, being everything for everyone but yourself. Yet something deep inside of you keeps whispering, this isn't me. This isn't me. Then this moment right here, this discomfort, this inner ache, the ache of misalignment, this is your awakening. You don't have to burn everything down, but you do have to walk out of what doesn't fit and come home to yourself. That fire inside will burn. It will begin to burn the things that don't align. That's what it does. That's what awakening does. It reveals the truth. It strips us from all the layers. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is walk out of the life you thought you had to live and finally choose the one that has been waiting within. Thank you for sitting with me today. If this resonates, leave a comment below, and I will see you soon. Thank you.